Well, I guess everybody's probably wondering what happened to the 12 o'clock show. Well, it didn't happen. So now we're going to tune up for Flaminpit Show Part 2. And on the second half of the Flaminpit Show today, we have Mr. Jaron Sage. And we have John.
How's it going out there?
And we're going to talk about Flint's Drop Fest today. It's something new that I've never heard of, and in case anybody else never heard of it, you're going to hear about it today. So let's get with it and just start out with, like, whose idea was Drop Fest? But first, tell me, why is it called Drop Fest?
I'll take this one. So originally, Drop Fest was formed last year. It was our first year in about May.
Yeah.
I'd say about May or so, and we were just kind of hanging out on the porch, and we were reminiscing about Detroit Electronic Music Festival, which is an annual thing they've been doing for 13 or 14 years now.
Like the DTE in the Hart Plaza. Okay.
Yeah,
the Hart Plaza.
It's in Hart Plaza, and I think it's the largest electronic music festival in
Something
existence.
like that.
That's like that high techno.
Yeah, it's like techno.
Head banging.
And so I was just kind of thinking about it, and one of my favorite parts of that festival is when you show up downtown Detroit, you can hear the bass and all the sounds bouncing off the walls almost immediately when you get out of your car. And so that was really the inspiration for this event, is to take our downtown area, place a couple stages throughout so that we have the urban city setting, and bounce some music off the walls and give people something a little different than what they normally have with a lot of the events that go on downtown as it is. Because we do have some events that have DJs and things like that, but nothing specifically for the electronic music producers and artists that are out there. So that was the premise of the idea. And so I gave a couple of my buddies a call. And last year we had a few more people on the creative production team that helped bring it all to life and make it possible. And we just started having weekly meetings and going over some ideas and hashing out who, what, when, where, how, and why, and just started promoting it, getting it out on Facebook, trying to get a feel for who all might be interested in something. So that's where it came from. The biggest problem with that is, when you say electronic music, no one knows what you're talking about.
You're like, what's that high-tech stuff?
The layman's like to call it techno.
Yeah, that's what I know as techno. When you say electronic, it's like, I don't know what that means either.
Yeah, but techno doesn't really grasp the full concept. That's just one little piece of what it all is.
But that sort of gets you going and knowing what you're talking about versus electronic, because I never heard of it being called electronic before.
Yeah.
So why is it called Drop Fest? Does that stand for something?
Well,
D-R-O-P?
Drop Fest, actually, one of the most important parts of one of the newer styles of electronic music it's called dubstep. And one of the most important parts of almost any electronic song is what they call the drop. And so John can explain a little better than I can, because he's a producer and DJ himself, DJ John Salem.
Go DJ.
Go DJ. Go DJ.
After John Salem, but right. So he can explain the drop a little bit.
Kind of the whole concept with the drop too is when you're playing a song, it's set up into almost like stages. You know, you got your introduction, you got your main or the meat of the track, and then you got your breakdown, just kind of like you'd hear with any standard track. Well, with electronic music, at the end of the breakdown, usually has kind of like a build-up spot where it gains a lot of tension, a lot of emotion to the track, and right before it hits into, like the big, meaty, like real big push, kind of usually a little after halfway through the track, it almost, a lot of tracks it'll tend to either just go to a blank sound, nothing there, or that's considered the drop, essentially. So it'll build up, gain a lot of tension, either cut off and then cut right back in, or like variations of some, fills, drum fills, different things like that. You know, I mean, some drops can go up instead of down kind of thing. You know, you drop up, drop down.
I don't think you can drop up.
Yeah. You can in music. You'd be surprised.
I'm going to drop up on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's really the big thing about the drop, quote unquote, is just that part right before you really get into like the big emotional, like meaty dance portion of the track.
It'll be your pre-climax.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
A little bit of fun in it. You know, this is an all-ages event, but that's not to say we aren't going to have a lot of fun out there.
So I couldn't think of it as like R&B. There was no drop in R&B, huh?
Not necessarily.
Usually
so
a real steady
pretty
pace,
steady.
you know?
Yeah.
So what about like at a rave? Would there be a drop at a rave?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's more the kind of music.
Well, the quote-unquote rave is like a showcasing of electronic music, and usually a rave is going to be an underground party.
Right.
You know, and that's what we're doing with Drop Fest, is we're bringing it
Above ground.
into the mainstream here, and we have it broken down into 3 different stages. And most people at festivals that like this one, they don't separate the genres out. They just kind of smash all the different types of electronic music onto the one stage.
And it kind of depends on
stages.
who's sponsoring that stage too.
Absolutely. I mean, it might stay within, you know, certain areas, but we have specific house stage, drum and bass / jungle stage, and then a dubstep stage. And the purpose for that is to kind of showcase the differences between those types of music, the types of sounds within the overall genre there. Which John can explain better, but basically it comes down to beats per minute in your song and what kind of tempo you're going with. A lot of the different sound effects and drum effects that you would use really makes one stand out from the other as far as genre goes.
So is it all DJ music, or do you have bands set up too? I mean, what's it gonna be
all DJs. There are electronic bands, so to speak. Usually there's a dubstep band called Mode Step, and the kind of the concept that they work with in the band style, to give an idea on how that would work, is they have a DJ, a guitarist, a pianist, and a drummer, but most of that is, you know, like backed by the DJ playing most of the track, and then they add on to it with their instruments, and then the drummer plays along, usually with the drum track, kind of adds in with it. The concept is good. I don't really think it works out as well as a lot of people would like it to, simply because a lot of those sounds are especially made with the computer. So it's essentially, we're looking at DJs. So there are like live PA shows, you could call, where you take pieces of your work and you mix them like on your computer on the spot, you know. So let's say you got like 3 tracks you're going to play, and you have those tracks each split up into like 4 segments that what would make up that whole track you'd hear normally. So they would just bring in any, you know, say 3 of those 4 segments from any of those tracks, and then you essentially create, you know, the bulk of one track that people would recognize, and then you kind of mix and match those samples until you get into the next track, and then you got the bulk of that next track that people would recognize. And it's kind of a you know, another, instead of DJing the full tracks at a time, you're kind of mixing and matching those pieces to kind of give it a more of a live, you know, on the spot feel of actually making a track on the spot kind of thing, but you're still essentially, you know, mixing the bulk of what that track is recognized as.
So the whole festival is going to be this kind of music?
Yes.
So what kind of crowd do you think that'll draw? Like your age? I mean, what's the crowd going to be like?
It's very diverse.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, just going off of, for example, our Facebook statistics, you know, we're pulling every demographic, every race, every religion, every area. I mean, there's people from out of the country that have been interested in Drop Fest, just the concept of it without really understanding what it is. So, I mean, really you can expect to see a lot of people out there. And like we were saying before, with the different types of electronic music that there are, the different types of music usually will bring the different age crowd groups.
Okay.
Usually what they call the dubstep is a lot more new, younger, you know, the younger crowd or whatever, and then you start getting into the house and the jungle and the drum and bass, and those are all older and more original forms of electronic music that were part of the basis of the creation of electronic dance music, or EDM you might see sometimes. Okay, right.
Electronic dance music.
Right, right. Just to clarify some of those.
Essentially, the umbrella term for it all.
So now, what other kind of activities are gonna be? You're gonna be downtown, like in the flat lot?
Nope. Actually, we're not going to be. We have the rooftop of the Rutherford.
Oh, okay. That was the next thing I was going to say, because they just had an event up there.
Yeah, absolutely, for 4th of July.
Yeah.
So we're going to be on the rooftop, and that's the top deck there, and that's at 125 West Kersley Street.
It's right at that corner.
Right on the corner.
You know, that's an amazing spot to do stuff like that, because you know, you get up there, I mean, it's like you can look all out over Flint.
Exactly.
And who expects to have a party on the rooftop like that?
Right.
You know, it's like people just don't do that here.
Exactly.
They pulled some stuff when they were at Genesee Towers. You know, they had that little thing up there, but it's going down. So now you got to find another spot. And I guess that'll help pay for the parking ramp.
Right. Well, it's definitely an attraction too.
It's definitely a pretty penny as well, you know. But we're really excited to be able to be up there, because last year we had a stage and it was a huge success on the rooftop.
You were on the roof last year?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't even hear about it last year.
Well, last year we were on the DDA flat lot, right there, the U of M parking lot.
The flat lot, yeah, that's what I was thinking this year. But
Kersley Park and on the rooftop. And so this year we've partnered up with the U of M. And so we've got the ice skating rink down there that's connected to the pavilion. And then Riverbank Park, which is directly across the street. And then the rooftop stage.
So you're going to be spread out through all of that?
That's right.
You got enough, so you got DJs on the roof and DJs at the waterfront and DJs ice skating?
Right.
Yeah, we have all 3 stages filled up from.
Well, it'd be cool if they could create a rink like now.
Yeah.
That would be awesome, you know.
Dry ice down.
Yeah, I mean, and then you'd like be skating through fog. I mean, now when is the event? So we got to know when to get the ice down there.
We're going to be August 10th.
Okay.
Which is not this Saturday, but next Saturday. The
Couple
easiest way
weeks.
to remember that is 810 in the 810.
Oh, that is cool.
It's from noon until 9. It's all ages. It's free. And that's the big part there, is this is a free event. It's designed specifically so that everybody, old, young, from here, from there, from wherever, everybody can come out and enjoy this and actually get a chance to get a better understanding of this type of music and of this culture, because there's a huge subculture around the world that's revolved around these beats and about the emotions that go into it and the actual production of it all. That's where you see a lot of the things like the people with their light shows and the glow sticks and the crazy robot dancing and all that stuff.
Painted silver.
Yeah, you know, you don't normally
you see that in Vegas a lot.
In a lot of places, you know. So it just kind of gives people something different to do.
So you're going to have people like that there? Like hula hoopers and...
We are going to have some hula hooping. We're going to have some dancers.
What kind of dancers? Like stripper dancers?
No, maybe for the after party, you know, but that's something you're going to have to come find us for the location, you know, because this is a family-friendly event.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, strippers have families.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Most of them.
I love me some strippers. So,
me too.
No, we paired up with Flint Underground. You may have heard of them.
That's that building right there by a beach.
No, it's actually not a building. It's a group. It's a bunch of artists, curators,
Why are they
dancers,
underground?
performers. It's just kind of their name. They've been around since 2009. They're actually coming a little above ground now because they're getting pretty popular.
Okay.
But it's just a group of local artists, performers and musicians from around the area that have been hosting a lot of the art walks.
Oh, okay.
So you'll see a lot of their stuff down by Churchill.
Yeah. And I've seen on Facebook, because they always invite me to the Flint Underground, and when you say underground, I'm just thinking, I'm thinking like rave or something like I'm not into. You know, I always think of, you know, underground is just not a good name.
Well, they have very positive events, and if you don't like underground, you can just call them FU.
Oh!
They go by that one too. But
I won't do that.
they do go by that as well sometimes. But no, they're a very positive group. It's all just about, you know, they do a lot of educational workshops based around art and the performing arts.
Okay.
There's a couple, the founder and main curator there, Paulie Everett.
I see his name all the time.
Yeah, Paulie's around. He's an amazing artist from around. And then there's also Julie Moore.
Yeah, I know Julie.
Very active in there.
I've gone to her events at the machine shop.
Absolutely. You know, there's several more, you know, that are very motivated. They're very active in the community, and they're actually really putting themselves out there to do a lot of positive things.
Oh, okay.
And so we've teamed up with them to throw the second annual Heavy Hitters Art Bash, is what we call it.
Heavy Hitters Art Bash.
And that's our live art installation. So there's going to be all sorts of painting. There's mural projects. There's graffiti. There's things just on canvases. And then we also have something new this year that's called Human Canvas.
Oh, that's like the girls in the bikinis, you paint their bodies?
Body painting, yeah. And we've teamed up with the Flint Riveters, which is a local group of models. And they're most popular for like Bike to the Bricks, Back to the Bricks, things like that. And they're making their official debut at Drop Fest this year.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to come out and be the human canvases. And we pair them up. So we've got an artist with the model paired up, and then we're going to have little cards with keywords on them. It'll be an interpretation project. So between the artist and the model, they can interpret what that word is, and then we'll have almost like a game of charades over at the ice skating rink, probably around 4-ish,
I think it was something
15,
like that.
14-ish or something.
Yeah.
Right around there, we're going to have an interactive, almost showcasing game, so that the community can come out and try to guess what is she painted like, you know, and put them all together so that hopefully the people can guess close enough words that the conceptual art project will then be a phrase based around positivity. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Self-expression, you know, something like that. And so it's all experimental, just kind of a concept that we're going to work with that we thought would be fun and involving.
So any men models?
Yeah, actually there probably is going to be a couple of people.
I'll be there with my camera.
There's going to be all different people, all different body types, and everyone's really welcome to come get involved. You know, Drop Fest as a whole is based and prided on creative production process, you know, an involved thing here. So
well, I like when I come downtown and there's an event and it's packed. I like seeing people out because it's been so long with nothing going on downtown. And it used to be downtown was booming, and then it just went crazy dead, and now, you know, it's coming back. And I never knew there were as many artists around because they really didn't put anything like that downtown before. For a number of years, you know, nothing was downtown. You just drive through and be like dead, you know. Nobody go downtown. You don't want to park. Yeah, you don't want to park. Yeah, you know, parking was crazy. That's one thing I don't like about downtown. It's always hard to find a parking space. But I came down through there the last thing they had with the big sculptures, and I can't remember what it was called. And it was just recently they had a big art event down there, and then I was down there for the gay pride event. That was cool. And you know, I was just watching all the people mingle, and you know, it just brings back memories of being in Ann Arbor downtown when it's something going on 24/7. And we really need stuff like this, and like this, you spreading out from this end all the way across Saginaw Street. Right. I mean, that's what
we're party for. That's what we're trying to do is create. Because even if people don't know about this or they don't make it because of whatever prior engagements or for whatever reason, we still have space for them. And so for years to come, it can keep growing and growing, and the word can spread so that we already have basically the entire downtown rented. Right. You know, so we got nothing but room for people to show up and experience, like you were saying, that mingling and actually getting out there. With the parking even, we didn't rent it, but the parking lot, the flat lot there, that's going to be open. So there's the event parking, and there's
now what about
more than enough space
the ramp?
there, you know?
Do they have to pay to get on the ramp to get up to the top?
The ramp we're going to have shut down. There's going to be the bottom couple levels for people that live downtown that are residents and already pay to be there. But we're going to try to keep traffic out of the parking ramp for the most part.
So how people gonna get up there? Is there an elevator?
There's elevators.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
There's elevators and stairwells.
Because I just wonder how people gonna get up there. I'm like, I want to get up there. I need an elevator.
There's a nice elevator. It's a good size elevator.
It's not creepy because I don't like creepy stuff. They get in there and they shake. I'm like, oh, hold the door. I don't want to be stuck and then y'all can't hear me because of all that techno music.
It'll be loud.
So now in each event there's going to be music. So anywhere downtown you're going to see music on the ramp and you're going to see music on the riverfront, and then the skating rink you can only put so much. Now when we was down there for the Pride, they had the DJ thing and that was loud. I loved it. I mean, it was just boom boom boom. I'm looking forward to it. I've never seen anything like this, so I'm looking forward to just, if nothing but cruising through. I'm gonna be stopping and taking pictures and move a little further, take some more pictures.
Yep. That's the idea, is to have a rotating people festival.
Right.
You can not just be stuck on one spot and kind of burn out over here. So you can walk around and experience downtown as well as all the different types of music. Yeah. It will be non-stop music from noon all the way up until 9 o'clock.
Now what about food and what about feeding people? Y'all got any food?
Yeah, there's going to be some food out there.
The restaurants downtown are participating?
A lot of them have not. They're a little overwhelmed with people coming to them for sponsorships. Yeah, is what I kept getting, Yeah, I mean, there's so many of them.
Right. I mean, and they do donate a lot.
And they donate a lot to a lot of places. Yeah. And so it's the sort of thing that we did approach some of them out there, and a lot of them just weren't financially able, or their calendars were already booked up, or they had too many things going on right around here. Right. Because I mean, we gotta realize that the Crim's coming up, Back to the Bricks is coming up. Buckham Alley Fest was just a couple weekends ago.
Yeah, that's where I come through there.
Fest, I mean, there's a lot of things going on at this time of the year.
The Buckham Alley Fest went come through there, and it was a nice crowd. Yeah. And I rode around and tried to wiggle my way through. But it's only so many restaurants downtown, and I know that they always do a lot of fundraising and donating to people. Maybe they can just cut a deal on food and stuff, and they still won't make good money. They just.
Well, I'm hoping that they take it upon themselves to get involved. And to reach out a little more there, because there's only so much we can do. I can only ask so many times before I have to move on to the next. They're like potential sponsor.
I know, because when I do fundraising the same way, they look up, they be like, "Oh, here she comes." Wear your welcome out real quick. You don't want to do that because next year it'll be bigger and better. And tell them, look, you got a year. I'll be back next year. Yep. So put me on the books now.
We will have food though. We're gonna have pizza from Happy's. We're gonna have a couple. Like a hot dog vendor out there. There's going to be a barbecue vendor that's got fantastic ribs and chicken. So good. We had
that's always good. And they drinking all that beer.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is we weren't able to get a beer tent because we're on such a limited budget. I mean, a lot of this festival is coming out of pocket, and the rest is made possible from generous contributions from Greater Flint's Art Council. Right. We're part of a Parade of Festivals program, which is all funded through the Ruth Mott Foundation.
So y'all didn't do any fundraising in advance to make any money, or
very minimum. Very minimum. It's last year was kind of really bad weather in the beginning of the day, and we put it together in like 3 months. Something so. Yeah. We didn't have a huge crowd. I'd say there's between 1,000 and 1,200 people that showed up last year. Okay, so which is really good,
for the first time.
It's a first time. Yeah. But it wasn't. There was a lot of things that we didn't anticipate. Like we didn't really have a lot of good media coverage. Yeah. So we weren't able to put together that promotional package that can explain to these companies, like, this is what we're trying to do, here's some pictures of last year, here's some videos of last year, here's some actual demographic information, which is what a lot of those sponsors are really looking for.
Yeah, I guess you need to get on Channel 12 and 25.
So this year we're really taking a big focus to be able to get the proper media coverage and to be able to really analyze the demographics so that we can seek bigger, better funding for next year and be able to get a lot more community organizations and just members of the community in general involved, you know.
So you need to start prepping, like right after this event, you need to start for next year.
Yeah, we've already actually been working.
Yeah,
you know,
because it give you a good year to get people lined up that's going to lock in and say, yes, we're going to do this. Get your media together, like you say, because 3 months is short, and you wanted to expand. I mean, you might want to get some people from another country starting to come over here, and you know, like to get ideas, take your ideas back to their country.
Yeah. We have
We've already been asked by a couple people out of country. We had one guy from the UK. We had another guy from, I think, Spain. That asked us about coming out,
showing them how to do it.
Peru.
Well, not necessarily showing them how to do it, but they were interested in coming to play.
Oh, cool.
Right.
They can bring their people with them.
Absolutely.
They bring their media with them. You know, you'd be all over. You know, that's what you need, some international flair.
And that's kind of what we're looking for next year. We've been researching into a giant inflatable TV screen, basically, that is huge. I mean, this is ridiculous because we have the idea of doing a virtual stage.
Oh, yeah.
Where we can actually, without having to have all the finances to be able to actually get somebody from another country over here, put them up somewhere, make sure that they're compensated for their time and their services and everything. We can set it up so that people can live stream their set from wherever they are, so that we can have simultaneous parties across the world. And be able to just, you know, have the double camera situation like we have here, where they see us, we see them, we plug them right into the soundboard and have it be just a real interactive thing so we get that international experience.
That would be the stuff right there.
Yeah, right. So we thought that'd be really fun and a good addition. So we're working on that next year. But it just comes down to we need more local businesses involved. We need bigger name sponsors to be able to come down and help us out here. You know, you can only do so much with grant funding, and we appreciate every single bit that we've got. You know, I mean, we have so much support from the community. There's been a good handful or two of vendors that have come through, and we're only charging $25 for a vending space. You know, which is pretty reasonable considering we really keep it limited as far as the different types of vending. So that there's not a high level of competition out there.
Yeah, like 5 rows of T-shirts.
Right. You know, and so we've got a couple of financial mechanisms. For example, you know, the official merchandise. We're gonna have T-shirts of our own for sale.
So where my T-shirt at? Why y'all didn't bring me one?
They're
That's on this guy.
Still.
I don't want a white one. It make me look too big.
Okay.
I don't want a white one.
We'll work them out. Come out to the festival. We'll have T-shirts for you. But there's a lot more information. There's maps. There's an actual artist lineup. You know, so you can see who all's going to be there
and what times.
And well, the times haven't been released yet, but they will be very soon. And all that stuff is going to be on Facebook/Flint Drop Fest. One word.
Okay.
And that's basically all your social medias, your Instagram, your Twitters, your Gmail, all that is just simply Flint Drop Fest to search on there. And we are also at flintdropfest.com. Has a lot of those links that'll take you right there. And then if you have any actual questions or you want to get involved in this in any way, shape, or form, even just to come bring some art out, you know, or be part of this event in any way, you can email us at flintdropfest@gmail.com.
Okay. So you guys are still taking volunteers, and you need more volunteers or whatever, so people can still get in contact with you if they want to come out.
Yeah, I don't think you can ever have enough.
I know.
Because, I mean, even if there's not much to do, even just walking around and picking up some trash and cigarette butts, or, you know, keeping an eye on things, or, you know, helping somebody out for a moment so that they can take a break from doing their post. You know, every little bit helps like that. And depending on how the numbers go and how it all works, we're hoping to be able to compensate all of the volunteers and all of our performers with at least a cool wristband and
a T-shirt,
and maybe a T-shirt if we can get the funding for it, and probably definitely some lunch, you know, some water, some things like that, you know, because we're, like I said, we're on a super limited budget, But we're going to do everything we can just to try to put that appreciation for everyone and what they're doing out there, you know, even if it's just a big hug and a thanks for coming out, you know.
So now you guys non-profit? Are you 501?
No,
Oh, okay.
we are completely grassroots. This whole
Well, with this
thing
being
right
part
now,
of the arts, that's how you got with Ruth Mott, though, right?
well, it's actually a private thing. It's from the Share Art Flint grant. We're a grant recipient for that, as well as through a production company that we have, Peace Mob Media Productions.
Oh, okay.
And so that's the Parade of Festival event that was from Greg Fiedler up at Greater Flint Arts Council. He's helped us out a lot. You know, he's a great guy. And, so he's helped us out a whole lot over the last couple of years to get us really going. You know?
He's really the reason why we were able to get going.
That's right.
If you think about it, so.
Yeah. I met him once a year ago, maybe, something like that, yeah.
Big shout out to Greg.
Absolutely.
You're the man. So you guys think you're going to make this an annual event? You're going to try to do it every year, just bigger and better every year?
Absolutely.
That's the plan.
I think it'd be cool, too.
Weekend in August.
You're going to make it the same second week, whatever that date is every year.
It's kind of important to, you know, have some consistency in the time, because people then can expect it, you know.
Right,
like, we got August coming up.
They can put it on their calendar right now.
Drop Fest is going to happen. You know, they can expect it to happen kind of in the same time every year.
And also, we don't really have much choice, because we literally smashed ourselves right in between
back to the breaks and everything in August.
On there, because I mean, we got. What is it? We got Jazz Fest. You got Back to the Bricks. You got
the
Crim,
and
then Drop Fest. You know, and that's it. And then the Genesee County Fair. You know, I mean, there's so many.
There's a lot of stuff going on in August.
Especially on August 10th, there's multiple events going on that are. I mean, they're all over the state. You know, and that's one of the things that I think is a good thing. You know, a lot of people have been talking about, oh, you guys should change the date because this event or that event's going on. Like, you know, it gives people options. If you're into this kind of music, come on out, enjoy it. You know,
they know to come every year,
and it's free.
Right.
So I mean, you can pay to go to an event. You know, you can drive far away to go to an event, or you can just come on out, have a good time. You know, and just
park your car and walk.
And that's right.
Yep. It is a good idea, because it is a lot of stuff going on in August, and you guys fit right in. You just chunk yourself right in there.
That's right.
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming in and giving us a lot of information about the Drop Fest, because like I said, this is the first time I heard about it, and I'm always scrolling Facebook, you know, looking for people to interview and stuff. It's sort of like a stalker on Facebook.
Me too.
I shouldn't say that.
Sorry for spamming everybody, but now you know.
Now you know who the stalkers are. But yeah, thank you guys for coming in, and
thanks for having me.
I think I'm gonna show up. I wanna be a DJ. I wanna come up. You think I can go up there and be like behind you going, woo, woo, woo?
You're gonna have to talk with John Salem about this. He's gonna be main stage.
I'm not going to do it. I was just joking. Not doing it.
Maybe you could help us host the Human Canvas exhibit.
Oh, yeah, the men's section.
Yeah, see?
All
we gotta do is introduce people and let them come do their thing, you see?
I can do that.
See?
I can do that.
Have a little local celebrity host.
Now that I could do.
Okay.
I could do.
Yeah, I like that.
No, you're never be able to get rid of her.
I know. I'm going to be sign me up every year.
Harassing people on the street.
Well, it's only 30 minutes, so I think
He can contain me for 30 minutes. But at 30:01, it's over. Oh my goodness.
Well, thanks for watching, everybody. It was good to be here. I appreciate you, Lisa.
Yep, I'm glad that you guys took the time to come out and, you know, let everybody know what's going on. And next year when you get locked in, you know, if I'm still around, you're welcome to come back again.
Of course.
We might have some belly dancers and stuff like that you want to throw in there.
Yeah, put it on the background.
Yes. I mean, at the festival.
Oh, you're trying to have that kind of party.
No, they won't let me have a stripper pole in here, so you know, I am me. I know, I can go a party anywhere, and John won't let me.
Look at the ceiling. We only have like a 7-foot ceiling.
Well, we'll have little people.
We need them to climb.
That's right. They don't have to climb too much. But anyways, next week my guest will be Shirley Cochran, who owns this, manages a program called Motherly Intercession. And what that is, the parents that are incarcerated, their children are taken care of by family members, and this program gives them a place to go for activities. So I want everybody to tune in next week. And thank you guys again for coming in this week. So in saying that, this is Flaminpit, and we're out.
Later.